All right, let's narrow down this discussion just a little bit more. What from the movie can we take away moving on to the next few movies that involve Spider-Man? So it would be the Avengers movie or the Infinity Wars.
It's hard to say because like Tom Holland is filming for Infinity War.
Yeah, we know that.
We know Spider-Man's in there. I think he's going to be in Thor too, right?
Yeah.
But from what I heard is it's more like a Civil War cameo in Infinity War. It's not like a full on he's an Avenger. It's more of he's kind of there.
Well, at the end of the movie, he basically declines the offer to be an Avenger, right? So
yeah, so that makes sense.
I think that they still have that report with Tony Stark that he can be counted upon when the time comes, and I'm pretty sure he's the one, or maybe he'll get Happy to call him when everything goes to crap.
Either that, or maybe something attacks. Maybe Thanos' henchmen attack New York to try to find something, and Spider-Man shows up, Iron Man shows up, and they're all fighting them off or something like that.
Or, in the comics, basically the thing that starts off everything was Thanos wiping out half the Earth, right, population.
Universe, right?
Falls
universe.
Oh, I guess half. Like it was basically half the population. So
yeah,
maybe he wipes away Aunt May or something. That brings him into the fold. But there's so many ways they can tie him in. We just don't know yet.
I don't know if they'll go that dark, just because Marvel doesn't really do it that dark. But
it doesn't have to be like killing them. Just maybe trapping them in a different dimension.
Or they disappear. Because if I remember the comics, like everyone just literally vanishes. They don't die per se. You don't see them die. This went gone.
And then they can come back, right?
Yeah.
But we know because remember it is Disney.
That's true.
So there's only so much they could do,
or willing to do,
because it still needs to be PG-13.
Fair.
Just keep in mind that they have the ultimate reset button in the Infinity Gauntlet. So whatever they do, they can always bring it back. They have so many ways they can play with it.
The problem with that is I'm so worried about, because I love Thanos so much, right? The thing about the Gauntlet and the way the comics are, it's a slippery slope if you have this thing that can just turn back time and basically undo the movie. And it's like, why did I watch that movie? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the ultimate reset button, as you call it. When used correctly, it's gonna be like no fun for anyone. What was it? With great power comes great responsibility.
Whoa.
Did it get too meta for you guys there?
This is Homecoming.
Yeah, fair enough.
This is Homecoming.
Well, even if they do, like, let's say, like, turn back time and everything, there's always the butterfly effect and things that come into place. So, maybe they fix everything, but that introduces another villain or maybe another alien race. They can take this in so many different ways. We don't know yet, but
maybe we can see the evil Cap, right?
Hail Hydra.
Secret Wars, right?
Secret Wars starts.
Secret Empire.
Clearly more spoilers than we intended, but
read the comics.
Spoiler alert.
There's no spoiler. It's not part of the MCU.
Fair enough.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
But so back to the Spider-Man's future. All we know is he's part of an Avengers. It's basically a cameo, or like Civil War's cameo, from what I've read. We don't know until it comes out. And he's basically going to kickstart or lead the future of the MCU, at least in the beginning.
All we know, or what we've seen, is that he was filming with Chris Pratt and Robert Downey Jr. in the last sort of Infinity production video we saw.
So we know nothing so far. I'm sure they have nothing written for the future Spider-Man movies yet, but you know something's spinning in Feige's head.
Maybe he has it written behind his office chair. Everyone says he has everything planned out for the next 20 years, but in that room. So maybe it's out there.
I feel like Kevin Feige has mastered time travel, like he's real life Cable.
Like literally mastered.
He actually,
time travel.
Yeah, he's like, he's from like 2040, and he's gone back. He's like, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to do this, right? And then he's made the universe. It makes no sense. How does it take one man to control all these movies.
Clearly, he has the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's just making it all work.
Right?
Every movie he messes up, just reset.
Yeah.
Let's try again,
Or
guys.
he's Doctor Strange or something. Like, it makes with the Time Stone. Look how hard it is for DC, and they have 50 million people doing it. And Sony, same thing, and they messed it up too.
It'll be funny, and at the bottom of like Kevin Feige's card, it'd be like Sorcerer Supreme and Marvel Studios. But
The real Doctor Strange. Got it.
The real Doctor Strange.
So, I'm not sure if you guys will dabble a little bit into this, but do you guys notice any kind of Easter eggs? I know there's a lot.
We're talking about Easter eggs.
Why don't you name either your favorite or a notable one, something interesting? Because there's way too many that we could have caught on their first viewing, especially without a pause button. It's gonna be hard to find some. So,
like, most notable for me, and the reason why it is because I knew Donald Glover was going to be the Prowler. I knew his nephew is Miles Morales. So when Spider-Man went on interrogation mode, which was amazing. Because get the Batman voice, but really bad. I think it was mocking Batman. Anyways.
There's a lot of...
Right, there was...
Yeah. There's a lot of satire in this, which I love. Is that the right word? Satire or mockery? I don't know which is the correct word, but a lot.
But yeah, like... Well, you know, him and... I would love to see him with Deadpool. Because of comics. But anyways, that's another thing.
Discussion.
So he webbed his hand on the trunk. And he mentioned his nephew. And I remember I sat there and I gasped. I'm like, oh, and I turned to my girlfriend and I was like, oh my god. And she's like, I don't know what you're doing. That's why it was notable for me.
I think what made it surprising is they actually went there.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that they could just, like, a lot of times I find that a lot of Marvel movies still, like, it's purposeful, but it's almost like when they reference something, but it's not always used, right? So the fact that they had Donald Glover playing the Prowler doesn't necessarily mean they had to reference his nephew Miles Morales, right? So I think that's maybe where the shock came from.
I think the little more shocking part was the fact that I don't know if Marvel has the right to actually use Miles Morales because it still belongs to Sony.
So we looked at it, and because he's Spider-Man, they can't use him as Miles Morales technically can be used by Sony from what I've read. I don't know how true that is, but it's not so clear if they can use him. Marvel can use
Which
him.
is why it's a little bit of a gray area they're working on.
Yeah.
So,
but I think because they have the deal for Spider-Man, and I feel like there's some trust based on how this movie turned out. There's a lot of trust in Marvel doing or being given the rights to do whatever they wanted to do. I don't think Miles is ever going to show up, honestly. Or at least not in a while.
I would say you never know because them mentioning Miles opened doors for them for the future, right?
Exactly.
So whether that happens, now they have options to sort of whether they would like to go through that direction or stay with Peter Parker. It's really then up to Sony and Marvel and how they deal with it in the future.
Marvel always puts a reference, and if they want to do something with it, at least it's there. And if they don't, they leave it. Like they've done that for so many years now.
The Easter egg that that really popped up for me was when Michelle said that her name was MJ. I thought that was pretty surprising.
Yeah, they hit that really well. Like, did we even know her name up to that point?
It was only Michelle.
Michelle.
We don't know her last name.
Yeah. Okay.
But she says she's MJ. So
yeah, people call her MJ, right?
I would say that Homecoming or this Spider-Man version, she's the iteration of Mary Jane Watson, which is in the original Spider-Man.
We'll have to wait and see what happens because, once again, this is a little bit different from the characters in the comics.
Yeah.
But one little thing I noticed about the school that they're in and their mascot was a tiger. So I don't know if that's kind of playing on the whole MJ thing because she always calls Peter a tiger. So
yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
But definitely, would you say they're more like a new love interest going forward from now?
You
There's
can see
heavy
it
notes
from
of
her.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she
has a crush.
She had a crush, or at least she even said, "I'm not a creep. I'm observant." When she mentions something about Peter Parker, and
It's
but
a synonym of being a creep.
Yeah, basically, and But then the way she portrayed herself in a lot of the scenes when she looks at Peter, especially when Peter runs out to start doing his superhero things, like it's of not just curiosity, but like a little bit of concern, which obviously kind of shows some sort of feelings, whether they're of romantic feelings or just curiosity. Don't know.
What you can see is like when she talks to him, she kind of like puts him down or whatever it is. You know how like growing up is like, oh, if you pull a girl's hair, you have a crush on her.
Yeah.
Like she,
that's
like
her version.
He
of
walks into the dance, she gives him the middle finger.
Oh, that's
flips him the bird.
Best scene ever.
That was really
the
good.
very
So
last,
random.
the last scene with her where she says, "Oh, everyone calls her MJ." Where he's leaving, she's like, "Where are you going, Peter?" And then Ben, she's like, "I don't care."
I don't care. Yeah.
Just trying to play it cool, right?
Yeah.
So.
But she's like making fun of him because it's kind of like the kid thing, right?
Yeah, it's very obvious.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they could have you can interpret that in slightly different ways if you wanted to.
The one thing that I can see him doing, but because we know how Zendaya is in real life, she's like singer, model. In this movie, she looks very different, very normal, very like
Down to
grungy.
Down to earth,
Yeah.
maybe?
You know what's gonna happen.
So basically, she could easily dye her hair red, pull off the whole model look. You know how she looks in real life as a celebrity, and kind of you can see her being that whole
like that girl
actress
transformation thing.
Yeah.
No, given the tone of this movie, I can see her doing it or mentioning it's like, I was gonna dye my hair red.
Yeah.
But then I thought it was really stupid, so I didn't do it. Like you can totally see
And
that.
we'd laugh.
And I'd laugh because I think that'd be a pretty funny twist to it. But yeah.
I don't think they're gonna do anything like so MJ like. I think it's just a fun reference for people, honestly. I think people like one guy in the theater when we're watching, it was like, no, because he was upset that might be MJ. It's like, chill, dude.
I think some people were definitely upset, but once again, we don't know exactly how they're gonna go with it in the future. It could just be a little bit of a joke towards MJ.
Yeah.
So
they've made a lot of jokes. They're not DC. They made jokes about Batman.
For me, my favorite Easter egg, or the one that stood out to me most, was Matt Gargan, aka the Scorpion. They didn't really have any kind of mechanical suit for him or anything, but we can kind of tell he's going to be portraying the Scorpion by the tattoo on his neck.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask, like, how did you figure that out?
Well, we know in the comics that Matt Gargan was the Scorpion, but just for
like in the movie, like, how did you that tattoo kind of was a giveaway?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did not know that.
I don't know if they did this on purpose or not, but we know in the comics that he wasn't just a Scorpion. He was Venom for a little while. And we know that Sony has got someone in place.
Tom Hardy.
Yep, as to play Venom. So we're going to see how it goes with that. But we noticed a few little things about him as well. He did suffer some injuries on the ferry. So at the last part, when I see him approaching Adrian Toomes, you can see his arm was a little bit messed up. He has some metal in it. So maybe that's how or maybe why he requires some kind of prosthetic or some kind of armor that will lead to him having some sort of Scorpion costume. Well, as we discussed, I don't think he's going to go full Scorpion like in the comics or the cartoons.
That'd be too cheesy.
Yeah, but I think it'll be some portions of it, maybe a progression of the suit or parts of it. But it seems like they might go that route as a villain in maybe not the next movie, but maybe in the future.
Now, I'm wondering, like, because he mentioned some of his friends. So I'm wondering who he's talking about, or if he's going to get the suit from, or like his upgrades or whatever it is for Scorpion, because Adrian Toomes introduces him to the Tinkerer, who was never caught that we know of. I don't think.
Tinker's the dude that made all the weapons, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good.
And he could be basically the glue for all the future villains in the Spider Universe, in the MCU now. We can see that he is very good with tech. He built the Shocker Glove. He built the Vulture's flying apparatus.
Yep.
So, and all the other weapons and everything as well. So, for all you know, he could be building Scorpion suits. Who knows? Maybe Doc Ock's arms in the future. And there's so many ways they can take it with this because he is a genius.
I'm just wondering, like, it's very hard. It's so hard to speculate, especially with Marvel, and I'm just wondering where they're gonna go with the next villains. Because you see the Scorpion here. We don't know if he's going to be in the next one. but I wonder who else they're gonna use, right? Because everything's watching this movie. Everything seems grounded. It didn't seem like the world was like in danger. It was just small like events. So
it's like an origin story, like a true to its name origin story.
Yeah.
Like this is Spider-Man learning about being Spider-Man, and he's fighting people at his level. Yeah. He's not fighting like the alien race.
Well, that's how Spider-Man's rogue gallery was always in the comics.
Yeah,
it was never any super crazy villain with amazing powers. They were all kind of more like low-level to mid-range baddies that have either some kind of super tech, but now like mutant powers or anything like that.
They didn't have a political agenda, nor they were from the cosmic universe. Like he fought people with extraordinary powers or equipment, and just like it's like crime fighting, like to its simplest core, I guess.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
It's like all the street level Marvel characters like on Netflix.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's all the same villains too. Those characters also cross paths with Spider-Man. It's just it doesn't seem like you watch like obviously Avengers because they're Avengers. It's like world-ending events.
Yeah, that's their purpose, right? To stop these world-ending events. I guess for me, the biggest Easter egg or reference, and this has nothing related to even the Marvel world realistically, was the Ferris Bueller run scene where he runs through all the yards, and they even show the movie. Because Ferris Bueller's Day Off is my favorite movie, and for many different reasons. And this movie is touted as a coming of age movie, and I think it really hit the nail on the head with that, and it just carried that theme so well, along with bringing in the Spider-Man story, and the fact that they paid homage to the Ferris Bueller movie is just, to me, like, it was awesome because I love that movie. And
is that running through the yard?
It's running through the yard. Fun. The end troll scene with Captain America. He kind of broke the fourth wall, I guess. When he talks to the production crews, like, how many more of these do I have to do? Like, I just like that. And because it's a coming of age movie, I don't think there was a reasonably decent coming of age movie produced in the last little while. If there was, please correct me or tell me to watch it in the comments below. But this was like a really good coming of age movie, and it's really refreshing to see something like that. And that little Easter egg really made it kind of one of that feel good. I guess that's where all that feel good feels come from me. It's just a little reference.
Yeah, it's rare that you see a lot of coming of age movies these days.
That's in the big theater. I'm pretty sure there's like smaller theaters, ones, or you might find some on the Disney Channel. But yeah, it was really, really good. All right, so this brings us kind of to the end of our discussion. Now we're gonna give it a little rating. What did you guys rate? I'm gonna go first. I thought this movie was enjoyable through and through. You don't even have to be a Marvel fan to enjoy this movie. It's a great... If you're starting to enter the Marvel universe late, this is a great starting point. And as Tom mentioned, it's going to be a good chance that Tom Holland, Spider-Man, is going to be the launch pad for the next phase, carrying into the future. So it's good starting here. And yeah, I'm going to give it probably 8.5 Tobey Maguires out of 10. Yeah. That's why I'm going to use as my rating system.
Good.
There we go.
I also agree with Derek. This overall movie is absolutely probably the best Spider-Man I've experienced. You can say great things about Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2, but Spider-Man Homecoming is personally my favorite. If you take out Spider-Man, it's still a great movie. So I'm going to give probably 9.5 Andrew Garfield out of 10 Andrew Garfield.
Overall, great movie. I would say it's probably one of my top 3 MCU movies so far. Once again, there's a few things that I like to nitpick, but that's because I'm a big comic fan, so I use a lot of references based upon that. So with that in mind, I'm going to give Spider-Man Homecoming 8 J. Jonah Jamesons in the Spider-Man outfit out of 10.
I'm very biased to Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man in general. So watching previous iterations of Spider-Man hurts sometimes. But Spider-Man 2 was good. But other than that, this one was the best. And like Ernest said, if you took out Spider-Man, it's still a fun movie to watch. Full of comedy. You know it's a Marvel movie. It was just very Marvel-esque. I'm going to give it a 9 out of a not a Wonder Woman movie. Thumbs up.
All right, so that brings us to the end of our discussion. I want to thank everyone for their time. Let us know what you guys think. Did we miss something? Did we? Do you like some? Like, do you want to comment on anything that we've discussed? If you do, comments below. Please remember to like and subscribe. Follow our social media. Yeah, I'll see you next video.